our beloved guest speaker, Attorney Theo Duarte, our Honorable President, Mr. Danilo Concepcion, as represented by Executive Vice President, Mr. Teodoro Herbosa, members of the Board of Regents, UP System officials, Chancellor Dr. Carmen Cita Padilla, Vice Chancellors, UP Manila officials, esteemed guests, deans, professors, administrators, department coordinators, graduates, family, and friends, good morning. Today, we celebrate the culmination of the time we've spent these past few years in UP, of the experiences from which we have struggled and we have learned, of the ways by which we have grown out of our former childlike selves and into our new identities as graduates, as accomplished young men and women molded by the values imparted to us by our professors and the education provided by the university. Over the time we've spent here, we have been able to come together and within these 4, 5, or perhaps even 7 years, build the kind of deep-rooted relationships that can only benefit us on professional or personal levels in the future. We have been mentored by the wisest professors, assisted by the most patient staff, supported by the dearest of friends, and of course nurtured by our most loving parents. None of this would have been made possible if not for the people that UP brought into our lives, who have helped us in ways both big and small. And so to all of them, I say thank you. Thank you for standing by us and being our source of strength all this time. But time is an ironic thing. For many of us, it means to age. Think graying hairs, wrinkling skin, and crow's feet lining the corners of another's eyes. And maybe that's true too. But more importantly, the value of time lies in how, for you and for me, my fellow graduates, it had meant to grow. In time, your days in the university will fade into the backs of your mind, like a forgotten ghost that roams through the halls of old school buildings and the decades of an institution's history. You leave your marks behind in casts, in footprints littered around the lobbies of the RH building, in cracks that creep upon the walls of GAB, in CD copies of a thesis tucked away on shelves at your college library, or in ink blots that remain on browning pages of an aged blue book. And somewhere between your fingertips, as you grasp tightly onto that diploma, between the photographs and the picture frames of you and your friends clad proudly in those patterned sablais, between that first night you spend in a bed other than that of your college dorms, and the first day you report to your workplace as an employed adult, your memories of the university will soon fade and quite possibly vanish forever. But worry not, my dear friends, for this is more than just a memory. Because your identity as an scholar is what will stay behind afterwards, indestructible. The mantra of honor and excellence melting back into the core of your beings as though it had never been gone. It's like rediscovering your old favorite song. You'd have grown out of it by then, but you'll find that it still fits perfectly well in some sentimental crevice in the nook of your heart. You may not have always been able to recall the lyrics to UP Naming Mahal. And okay, aminin natin, baka nga hanggang ngayon hindi pa rin. But the meaning of those words will etch themselves into your mind and your soul. And you'll scrunch your face a little when the mere mention of UP starts to sound like home on the tip of your tongue. Now, I make no claims to know what's best for our futures, because as much as I want us all to find our peaks, I know that our roads will live for the strain of our journeys. How are we to keep making it, you may wonder, when this world keeps getting in our way? But you know, if there is anything that an ISCO knows how to do, it's how to fight the odds. As graduates of the University of the Philippines, there is no doubt that our resolve to become the very best is resolute. To make such dreams come true, our education has trained us to learn the true meanings of honor and excellence and the execution of values such as all those. But there's more to it than just that. As scholars, we have been privileged with an education that trains us in the pursuit of justice, to take a stand towards representing the poor, the masses, the free thinkers, the ones who strive for the fulfillment of equality, equity, and all basic human rights, the ones who have a fundamental understanding of the Filipino people and respect for our culture and our mindsets, the ones who refuse to conform to hatred and bigotry and the fear that these things create. Today, I stand before you, brimming with hope for the bright promise that our future holds. I stand here humbled as I face a sea of not only the country's greatest minds, but also its greatest hearts. I know that you all have it in you to live up to the hopes of our nation, of the people to whom we all owe our education to. For while it is unfortunate that not all Filipinos can enjoy the rights which we are naturally and constitutionally entitled to, like quality healthcare or an education like that of ours, it is in light of this that we must live out our legacy as graduates of the University of the Philippines. As mga scholar ng bayan, para sa bayan, we must take to heart the learnings we've gained over the time we've spent in this institution and carry out our mission to live a life in service to the masses, to use our knowledge to serve the people and our passion to serve them well. It is for them that we have continued to struggle, and it is for this cause that we shall continue to fight the odds. So congratulations everyone, and to my dearest Iskos and Iskas, I say to you, Padayon. Remember this day not as the end of your academic journeys, but as the beginning of your new legacy. Remember that history is written by the victors, for it is in spite of the battles we've faced and the hardships that came our way that we have all emerged as winners in our own right. Remember who you are and who you continue to fight for. Remember your fears and your failures, your shed blood, sweat, and tears, but most of all, remember that we were born to make history. Thank you.